Let's be honest, parenting can be messy and hard, but also so rewarding. In this podcast, we'll share all the ups and downs of parenthood, as well as share some of our favorite tips and tricks for parenting using both our experiences and expertise from our professional lives as a speech and language pathologist and teacher, but also our everyday lives as moms, just trying to balance it all. We're so glad you could join us.
Hello, welcome to And Then We Had Kids. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Sheena.
And it has been a whirlwind. I feel like we have had some great guests recently on our podcast. So shout out to those people who have come on. If you haven't listened to those episodes, please do. It's like, I've said this a lot. I don't mind being a broken record, but I love that we do this. And I feel like we've just connected with people that I never would have thought about or like gotten to meet, even if it's via a podcast and we're not in person, but it's so cool. And so, yeah, please check those out. That'd be great.
And I think it's highlighting some like amazing work that these mom entrepreneurs or whatever they are doing.
Great word.
Just there are women out there doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's been a minute. And life's been kind of crazy. And we figured we'd just kind of chat about what we've been doing, what's been going on, how we are, what's new, what's good, what's not so good. And for me, obviously, the big one is that I have this third kid.
Congrats.
Yeah, she is.
No one can see me. I'm literally doing like jazz hands.
You're doing your jazz hands. Yes. They're lovely. Yeah, she is almost 4 months, which is wild.
That's so crazy. I feel like it was just the other day that we were supposed to go out for a girls' day, and you texted us and said, change of plans. I'm at the hospital.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, okay, I'm going to come. I'm in the burbs. You're in the city. We're going to meet our other friend. My husband had just gotten home from golf.
With my husband.
Yes, that's right.
They were golfing together.
That is right.
She literally held it together long enough for the guys to get their golf outing.
I mean, sweet little girl, being able to stay in until after that golf round. But yeah, we were texting all day about what time I was going to go. I was psyched.
We were like meeting in the morning for like shopping and coffee and
getting one of those like permanent bracelets.
Yeah.
That was my plan. Get another one, I should say. We already have a couple. And then all my pregnancies and all my births, my water has fully broken. Like there is no question about it. And so we're just hanging out. I literally just texted you, and then I texted you probably like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, it was like pretty
quick. That was my text. Change of plans. I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about this, knowing that we were going to be chatting and just giving like a life update. And I have said this many times to all like women, any of my friends who have had kids or family members, like you plan for everything that happens, like every single scenario, except for the one that actually happens.
Yeah.
Like there's just something about every birth story, every pregnancy that is just so unique. But this one I was early. I was 35 weeks. So that part was somewhat expected. All of mine have been early.
Yeah.
And I had this like really weird feeling that my body was letting me down. Such like a not fair feeling.
Yeah.
To us as women who our bodies do so much during this time. And it's truly incredible that I just like couldn't give myself that space. It was like, nope, I was supposed to make it. My magic number in my mind was make it 36 weeks. There, for whatever reason, in my mind, that's like the beautiful number, but I didn't make it. And so everything was like fine, giving birth. And then again, anyone who's had a kid before, when my daughter was born, I remember her crying so loud. And I was like, yes, that is like such a great sound to hear. You just know that their lungs are doing well. They're there, you hear them. And because I was so early, they had brought in the NICU team,
Yeah.
which at 35 weeks is like a guarantee. It's just the team that comes in hopes that you don't need to use them. But odds are that you'll have to. And so they were kind enough that I got to hold my daughter for a brief moment. We did a little
Hmm.
like skin to skin, and then she got real quiet. And so they took her.
Oh.
And it took me, so my first uh, daughter, she was born also 35 weeks. You got to like go see her, right?
I got to see her pretty quickly. Like, I think I probably came and visited within a day or
A
two.
day. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I had her like at night. I think you came the next day.
Yeah.
With my first, I was like on like epidural high, like great. And so they they said we're going to take her to the NICU. She was 35 weeks. I was like, no problem. Like, go ahead, thinking
Right.
like I had no idea what that experience was going to be like. So they took her. I had like you go in and like see, this is pre-COVID, so life was a little different.
Yeah.
My friends get to go see her in the NICU. We weren't really supposed to do that, but we kind of broke the rules until we got yelled at. Um, and then it wasn't until she had to stay that I was like, oh my, like this is hard.
When you
With
get like discharged before they do,
yes,
right?
yeah. And then my daughter had to stay longer, obviously. So my first daughter was only in the NICU for, I say only, any day in the NICU is really hard.
Yeah.
Um, she was there for 7 days. My son didn't have to do any time in the NICU, and it was wonderful. But it was COVID, so we couldn't have any visitors. But
Yep.
he at least got to stay in the room with us. This time around, since she was 35 weeks, I knew that they were going to take her to the NICU. So when they wanted to take her from me, even though I knew she needed to go, it was exponentially harder to let her go, knowing what was coming.
Yeah.
And so she was born on a Sunday. And then she went to NICU. I got to see her. She then had trouble breathing. And so she was on um, tubes and just like a CPAP machine. And so I couldn't hold her, and I didn't get to hold her until Tuesday. So it was like it was really hard. It was so different than what I thought I knew. Whereas my first daughter, she could always breathe on her own, always eat on her own. And this time around, it was much harder.
Yeah. I feel like it's scarier too, because my second also had trouble breathing and was in the NICU for too. Not to the extent that yours was,
But
but that
truly,
like,
any time away, any time as in those first like hours, first days, first weeks, it is like it goes against everything that your like body's telling you.
yeah, your heart like stops.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off. So with yours,
Yeah.
he was
No,
there
I
as
that
you were
was kind of
breathing.
it. Like just, the it's so scary and you don't know what to do and you feel so like helpless.
Yeah. And like you alluded to earlier, having to leave again, anyone who's ever had to do this, anyone who's ever had to leave the hospital after giving birth without your baby, top like three worst emotional experiences.
Yeah. Especially when you also already have all of those hormones from pregnancy and delivery and
Yes,
your
yes.
body's doing all these crazy things.
And luckily I have like great systems, like with friends, family around that people could watch my other kids while my husband and I kind of took turns in the NICU because then my daughter she was there for 11 days. Um, and there are so many families that go through NICU. And like I said, even for like a night, a day, weeks, months, it's hard. And luckily, like glimmer of this is that the staff there, NICU nurses, NICU staff are some of the most amazing people.
Yeah.
Um, and so now she's great. Again, it's so funny how you wouldn't be able to like pick her out of a lineup of who was in the NICU, who wasn't. Um, and she's doing wonderful. I did the other night. I do like every once in a while, I'm like, oh my gosh. I do the thing where in the middle of the night where I'm like, she's so quiet.
Oh
Is she
yeah. Oh my
breathing?
gosh. Yes.
So I like go and I like turn my light on and like I'm right up against her and I have like my finger under her nose and I'm like looking for her chest rising and falling. And my husband's like, she's fine. She is. She's
I
good.
so with our second and him I had a emergency C-section with our second. So he was breech. We went to do the version where they try to manually flip the baby and it didn't go well. And so I can like look back on it now and laugh at it, but I was like wheeled down the hallway on all fours because apparently that's a better position to find the baby's heartbeat.
Oh my
And
God.
he just came out so quickly and he did the initial cry. And then, with C-section babies, it's not uncommon for them to like not get rid of all of that fluid in their lungs. And so he had some trouble breathing then. Um, but so because of that, my postpartum anxiety was worse with my second birth than it was with my first. And so
Mm-hmm.
I bought one of those little owlet socks where it
Yes.
like tracks like the oxygen level and
Yes.
breathing.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Um, and I found it actually made my anxiety worse.
Did it?
Yeah. So I had
Were
to
you
like,
like hyper focused
I
then?
was super hyper focused on it.
Mm.
There would sometimes be like false alerts that would go off because of the Wi-Fi connectivity.
Oh my God,
And
just
so
send you
after a
into
couple weeks,
a
I was
total
like, this
tailspin.
is this is just not worth it. We need to. So I think I like sold it on Facebook Marketplace or something.
But yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. It's terrifying. It's full of anxiety. It's great. It's lovely. And actually, my sister just had a baby not so long ago, and she was lucky enough to. I mean, for me, I didn't have this experience, and so there's a part of me that I'm done having kids. Um, in an odd sense, like grieving this process of like I never will have people be able to come and visit me in the hospital. I couldn't have the older siblings come meet the baby in the hospital. I just didn't get that experience even close to it. And when my sister did, and I was like, I'm so happy for her. And at the same time, I'm like, oh, that would be so cute. That would have been so nice. But just
Yeah.
that's just not happening for me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of those people that did not enjoy being pregnant and
Yeah.
did not have great birth experiences. So I am very confident in my decision to not have more kids.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
every once in a while, I'm like, ugh. Like I think even honestly with your third, this was the first pregnancy where we weren't pregnant together.
Right. Yeah.
And that I felt like a loss of like, oh, I don't get to go through this alongside you again. Like, like my body's done with this.
Yeah.
But it's just weird. All of the emotions, all of the feelings.
It is. And I assume now, like, what I am experiencing, knowing like this is my last, because last time, like, when we had our kids, like, you're done. And I didn't have that sense of like, I'm not, I didn't feel like it was like my family was complete. And now I'm like, I am good. This last little peanut, I'm good. She makes us family five wonderful. That now is every like stage I'm progressing through. Like I just put away her newborn clothes. Even when I put away her preemie clothes, or like she's not in newborn diapers, she's not even in one diaper. It's like these little things. I'm like, I am
It's the
just trying
last
to
every
be.
time, every stage. It's
Mm-hmm.
the last time.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to stay like so present in the moment of we are truthfully like not sleeping. I mean, if anyone can see us right now, I'm like, I like nice. Like I don't remember last time I washed my hair this past week. Like my makeup is like I
Yep.
went a little too dark today. I don't even think I had the light on all the way when I was doing my makeup. Like just like a hot mess express, but
I'm in
I'm
my
making it
robe.
work. Yeah. That we're not sleeping. So I'm excited for the day when we can sleep. And I'm okay that she's still little. I like this. I do, as hard as it is. Now, I think I like this phase a lot. I like the newborn phase, even though she's
Yeah.
kind of slowly transitioning out of the newborn phase.
Yeah.
But now she's like starting to smile. And like
Yeah.
every little thing, I know when they tell, all those like Instagram reels of like, oh, just wait until they're doing like X, Y, and Z. And like I love the ones that have like the positive spin
Yep.
moving through transitions with our kids. Like just wait until they're smiling. Just wait until they laugh. Just wait
Yeah.
until they tell you I love you. Just wait until they're whatever, instead of like wait until they're like being brats, wait until they're having tantrums. Um But yeah, it has been, I'm ready to sleep, truthfully. That would be
Yeah.
nice. That's not happening. A lot of coffee.
It will
And
someday.
then on
Growth
top of,
mindset. It's
I
not
know, yeah,
happening yet.
I'm not sleeping yet, for sure. It will happen. But then on top of that, and I know people have probably experienced this, like that's one big transition for us. A lot of people transitioning back to school.
Yep.
It's like now into what's been like a month of school, 3 weeks, a month.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day. Sure. Um, and both of our oldest started kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Yep.
I every once in a while I'm like, oh, they're gone. Mine is in kindergarten full day. So is yours.
Yep.
Yours had done like daycare previously, so you were used to
He had
him
done,
being
yeah,
out of the
daycare
house.
previously and full day pre-K. So
Yeah.
he felt pretty ready. And we talked about this, but I think he felt ready. I still wanted to prep him, so we got a couple cute, like The Night Before Kindergarten, which is a super cute book that my sister gave me to read to him, and he did great on day one.
I think that's pretty typical. That's exciting. The
Fabulous.
adrenaline is rushing. It's new, but like cool. It's I would say Monday or whatever the first day of school, I should say. Monday, I would put good money on like that's a good day for most
Yeah,
kids.
was great.
The next day,
And the the next week, we
mm-hmm.
had tears at every drop off.
Oh,
Every drop
that's
off.
so hard.
Um, which then again, the teacher in me was like, wait, there's a book for this. So we pulled out, I knew I had a copy of it at home, but we read The Kissing Hand,
Mhm.
where it tells the story of Chester the raccoon and how he's getting, going to school for the first time and he's going to miss his mom. And so it was just a really sweet book that we read and talked about. And the next morning, to kind of represent the kissing hand, we drew hearts on our hands. So
That's so
I drew
cute.
one on his and we drew one on mine. And just it was like the visual for him that if I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling sad at school, I can look at my hand and see that heart and know that mom loves me.
Oh,
And since then, we've done a lot better.
have you been drawing a heart daily or just that right
No,
after?
we did it. Honestly, we did it the first day and then we intended to do it the next day and just in the
Okay.
crazy rush. Like I feel like even though we've been in school for a month, I'm still trying to figure out like
And one of my morning
our
routine
back to school
is,
routine,
yeah,
like waking
yeah.
up and making sure we leave the house on time because this is the first time we're walking to school instead of driving. And yeah, so we definitely forgot the next day. I said, do you think you're going to be okay? And he said, yeah, I remember that it's there. And then we just haven't needed to draw it since.
Right. That's
So
really cute.
yeah.
Was
How
there
was how was yours return to school?
I mean, obviously with you, I think again, as teachers, I talked about school almost like daily in the summer. I
Yeah,
knew there was a lot of changes coming up for my daughter with like the new baby,
right.
starting school, and she's at a new school. And I don't think actually none of the kids from her preschool um go to our elementary school. So she was really
Okay.
meeting like all new kids, all new
Yep.
staff. And she was really excited for it. We hyped it up. Did some research on the school. She wasn't able to have her like kindergarten meet and greet, which was unfortunate due to the weather.
Yeah.
But the morning of the first day, she was like all excited, had a backpack, super cute. As we get closer to the school, you could see the like tears forming in her eyes.
Oh,
And we all walked as like a family. We made it a cute
yep.
family
We did
outing.
too.
And she starts like holding on to my husband's hand a little bit harder. She starts slowing down, tears falling down her face. And we get to the door and she looks at us as if I think hopeful that either A, we would go in with her,
Right.
or B, we'd say, this is it. We can go home now. That was the day and check, you did it. But she walked in and crying. She walked in. It wasn't like
Oh,
super audible, but it was like
they,
crocodile tears.
yeah, they were there.
Walked in. Luckily, her classroom was right when she walked in, so she didn't have to go very far. And she kind of like looked back and waved at us. And then after that, she said, I was waiting actually to hear from the teacher. And it's different, like being on the other side.
It really is.
Compared to being in schools. I want to be like, hello,
Right.
where's the update? And then I remind myself, no news is good news.
Yeah.
Um, and when they got released at the end of the day, she was like, I loved it. She had this cute
Oh,
crown that they made. And since then, she's done fine. Other than that first week, I get an email. Oh, what was that? She had like only a few days the first week of school. So it was like the first 3 days. After the third day, leading up to the weekend, the PE teacher emails me and says that my daughter has just been sitting out, basically crying on the side of during PE, not participating in the activities. And he's great. I actually knew of him from before and wonderful, great staff member. And she had told her teacher that she needed time to get comfortable with new things and she'd participate in a week.
oh,
So
did she follow that?
she did
Like to a T?
to a T. She spent the whole next week watching. It was a short week after Labor Day. She
Okay.
spent that whole week watching and since then has participated no problem. But that week in between, and so the PE teacher was like giving me updates, one great communication, and it took all of me not to say, can we start? Do we need a behavior plan? Do we
Right.
need like a positive reinforcement? Can you send me the activities that you are going to do each day so we can
So
preview
that
with
you
them
can
as a
preview.
group? Like, and I remember typing an email and asked my husband, like, should I ask this? And he's like, let him do his job. Give him the week. And I was like, okay. But I was so used to like jumping in and problem solving.
Right.
And I'm like, do you want any visuals? What are you using? What language? Are you
Well, and
using
I
the
think we're
tone?
also
Like
used to
it was
working with
wild.
we're used to working with kids that struggle being at school or don't always have the most positive experiences, and part of our job is to like reset that for them.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
It
it's
was
like
like
that parent anxiety of like, well, I don't want to get there, but like that just
it was not a crisis. She was
yeah,
not in crisis.
yeah,
She was learning something new. And I'm gonna go out and say it. Gym's probably not her strength. Like she's great at many things and she enjoys it. She talked highly. I wouldn't have known about PE either. She didn't say one bad thing about it. And she didn't say that she wasn't gonna go to school because of it.
mm-hmm.
Like she went, I would have no idea. So I was like, oh, she's not in crisis. Nothing bad right now. Like she's
Yeah,
good. She
yeah.
literally just needs time. So ever since then, she's been fine. But we did make
That's
it until this week until she now has an ear infection. And so colds are coming through
the
rampant.
colds are back.
Oh,
Like, yeah.
but yeah, I'm excited for what we got coming up. I think we have some really fun things coming down the line. Hopefully some good guests coming up. We want to get back to providing some parental support, some strategies. I know we've been talking about our middle guys who we didn't talk about too much today, but they being 2, almost 3 actually. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Those tantrums and just
Oh,
really supporting that. I think that we got to be talking about how we
we're gonna have to talk
help
through
each other.
that. We
Yeah.
potty trained. That was a whole fiasco. So
Oh my gosh, we
we'll
got
have
to
to
talk about
talk
that
through
too.
like the whole
Yes.
potty training.
Yeah. Well, we hope people have had a good start to the school year. And if your kid's still struggling, just know that it does take time. Check out, was it the kissing hand?
Yep, the kissing hand.
Kissing hand. My mom used to tell me she loves telling this story. That if anybody wants to know, true story. I hated going to preschool, and my mom's strategy was to give me her watch. Not like a very nice
Oh,
watch, but I would wear my mom's watch to preschool. And for whatever reason, I thought that my mom, may forget to come pick me up, but she definitely would come back for that watch. So I knew she was going to come and get me from school at the end
she
of
may not come back for you, but she'll come
it.
back for
Nope,
the
but
watch.
because I had her watch, that is a prized possession. So it eased my anxiety about going to school. So I wore that watch, I think, for like a month or so.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, hopefully your kid is really enjoying school. And if not, reach out and partner with teachers. They want to make school a good experience too. And just like I said, it does take time for all these new experiences, and
Yeah.
they'll get there.
They'll get there. And
Mhm.
so will we.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how much leading up to the start of the school year that I was like every now and again just like tearing up or crying, thinking that she was going to be gone all day.
Yeah. I mean, there real quick too, there was because I'm still getting used to like the whole routine of school drop-offs and pickups and there were some shifts in our family this year. So now I'm able to do both of those. And one afternoon I was just so invested into whatever it was that I was doing that I forgot to pick him up from school. Like, pickup is 3:45 and it was 3:43, and my
I
husband's
mean,
like,
it's a true
Do we have to pick
thing.
him up?" And it's a 15-minute walk. I was like, "Well, I guess I'm not walking."
Yeah. I
Hopped in
mean,
the car as fast as I could to go get him.
it's so strange. It
So,
happens. Real
it
life.
it happens to all of us. We'll
Mhm.
get there.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all of the latest, you can follow us on Instagram @_ and then we had kids. Thanks again, and like we say, life used to be carefree, and then we had kids.